We're getting close.
How you been?
I just think we're doing what we're doing here. Not gonna be able to hear us.
You good?
So second scrimmage in the fall under your belt, what are your impressions?
I thought it was good. We got some things to clean up, just some little things. It wasn't to the ground tonight, so it's kind of hard for some of the guys on the interior to do some stuff, but really just need to clean some small things up. Other than that, we'll be fine.
Looked like for both of you guys throwing the ball, it looked like, maybe, I don't know if it's chemistry in the passing game still kind of has a ways to go, or maybe just the ones downfield. I mean, where do you feel like you guys are at in that aspect? I mean, especially downfield, but just the passing game in general.
Yeah, I think we're good with it. We just missed some shots today that we normally don't miss. That's something that's not happening all the time. We really just need to give our receivers a chance and not overthrow them.
Yeah. Is that, 2 weeks from tonight, you guys are playing, is that a discouraging thing, or do you feel like, there are enough positives to kind of not let that be all that discouraging, I guess?
I don't think it's discouraging. I'm not going to miss that throw again.
Right.
So, I plan on completing them, so I wouldn't say it's discouraging.
Justice, at this point, you guys have been practicing every day. The monotony has got to be kind of setting in. How much are you looking forward to starting to prepare for an opponent?
Very, very. Especially, we got a great defense. When you got a defense you go against every single day, they 18 and 19, they're smart enough guys. They start picking up on some cues. But, just really excited to start playing somebody else and get the season rolling.
What do you feel like for you since the start of fall camp to now? What do you think maybe has been your biggest improvement?
Biggest improvement, just control over the offense, I think. Just not having to think at all, really just going out there and playing.
Where do you feel like, can I ask you another one just about the competition in general? Has that moved at all, you think, this week? Are you guys still in the same spot you were last week and just kind of not even worried about it? Or?
I don't know. Yeah. I can't tell you. We go ones, he goes ones and then twos, and I go ones and twos. And, they really haven't said anything.
2 weeks until you play, do you feel like you're ready after tonight, or you feel like you need those 2 weeks?
I'll always take extra practice. I don't think we're ever perfect. I'm harder on myself than anybody else, I think. So, I look forward to these 2 weeks getting ready to play Toledo.
Everybody good? All right, Cam, another scrimmage in the books. How do you feel like it went today?
Especially being third, it was kind of, a little difficult to go, full speed because, we're expecting hits, we want to get hit, but, it was a good scrimmage,
How much can you take from something like this? It's been pretty scripted, pretty controlled, and then today, no hitting involved. I know it's fun to get out here, but I know you guys are ready to play.
Right, of course, you said it right there, we're ready to play, but, really the main thing coming out today was to make sure unbelievable assignment, unbelievable effort. That was the main thing that coach, harped on all week, and, I feel like we did a pretty good job going out there and aligning right, so.
How far do you have to go for 2 weeks, just as an offense as a whole, to where 2 weeks from tonight you guys are feeling pretty good about where you're at?
I don't know how far we must go, but each and every week you become better. So this week, we're good. Next week we're gonna be better. Even the week after, we're gonna be even better. So, come 2 weeks, I guess we're gonna show you.
For you, playing the wide receiver position, and now that you've focused exclusively on that for the most part, how do you feel like you have come along now that you've been that wide receiver exclusively for the most part?
It's really just nothing new. It's what I played my first 2 years at my first school, but it was an easy transition. So there's really nothing to it.
How did you feel about that?
I probably got a bit more leg up to it, but would landed on a 20 or something like that. It'll get the job done, I guess.
You guys getting ready to start focusing on Toledo here pretty soon. How much are you looking forward to that? Instead of just looking at each other constantly, actually starting to look at an opponent.
I think I speak for everybody when I say I think we was ready the first week to watch Toledo, to start to get ready for them. But we have to take it day by time. Now that fall's done, getting into the drawing boards tomorrow and we get ready for Toledo. So, like I said, I think I speak for everybody when I say we're ready.
With so many new pieces, receivers and quarterbacks alike, is that chemistry in the passing game still evolving, and just kind of where is that at, I guess?
We still have a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, each and every day we're out here becoming better and better. So it's just another learning opportunity each and every day, and another opportunity to get better.
Yeah. Is it different at all depending on which quarterback is out there, or do they flip enough to where it seems like they're as equal as they can get tonight? Is the flipping enough to where you guys get reps with both of them?
mean, personally, it doesn't really matter. They're both two great quarterbacks, and we have a great coach who leads them on the field. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter who plays, who calls the snaps, or who throws the ball. It's whether we get our job done for them or not.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's
really, right? Yeah.
Get that out.
Starting, just how would you assess how it went tonight?
It probably wasn't as good as it has been the last 3 or 4 days, but it was really hard to tell being non-tackle wheel. Maybe some of those we fall forward for an extra yard here, an extra yard there. And, maybe we're able to actually get into the tempo. So that part was hard, but we got out of it when we wanted to. I don't think we had any injuries, at least from the offense side of the ball that I know of. So that's what we wanted to make sure that we didn't have. We're put against some tough situations, backed up, things like that. But it wasn't as good as it needed to be, but that's okay. We'll get it fixed.
As far as fall camp as a whole, you feel pretty good with the progress that was made?
Felt really good coming into today. Like I said, today was just hard to really make a judgment to get back in there and watch it. It's been really encouraged up to this point. The energy's been great, enthusiasm, the understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished has been really good. And you can see us getting better on a day-to-day basis.
Can you assess the quarterback's play tonight?
It's hard to say. Like I said, both those two kids are better live anyway, with the things that they can do as far as getting out of the pocket, getting out of trouble, and things like that. So probably took some sacks. It may not have been sacks, but I thought they did okay today.
It seems just in general to make quicker decisions. I mean, would you agree? And how big of a part is that in terms of kind of determining kind of who it's going to be, I guess?
Well, yeah, that's obviously one of the determining factors. Whether he makes quicker decisions or not, I don't know. I know that he's an older kid. He's a little, he's played a bunch of football. He's played a bunch of college ball. So, as far as getting out here in the lights and things like that, he's done that. So, Justice hadn't been really in that situation yet. They're both two really good quarterbacks. We'll see how this thing shakes out.
Both guys kind of missed on shots downfield. Is that just kind of a miscalculation tonight's thing, or is kind of a chemistry with receivers with so many new parts still something you guys are working on?
I think we missed them more so than anything. We preach, give them a chance. We got great wideouts. Make sure the ball's where they can at least go and make a play. Don't leave it out of bounds. And I know we've put a couple out of bounds. I don't like that.
This is second scrimmage where you were missing one of your starting offensive linemen. Does that hamper kind of progress at all? I mean, I guess,
I think it's going to be something that it's going to be all year is going to be something that we've got to do a great job of managing throughout the course of a week of practice. And hopefully everybody stays healthy.
Coach, as far as the competition goes, I mean, you've said it before. I mean, it might go down to the day of the first game or whatever. I mean, how do you feel about maybe that progress, or if there's any change in maybe a timeline?
I'll get back in there and watch the film before I do anything. But you'd like to get a guy, more reps with the ones. I feel like somebody's more ready than the other. But they're both getting a lot of the reps, as you can see. All the team reps has pretty much been those two guys. So, what do we got? 12 days from now, one of them will be ready to take the majority of the snaps.
Weh-Weh seemed like he got a lot more reps tonight than he did a week ago. Did he have a pretty good week, and where's his progress?
His progress has been really good. Up until today, you don't know. Some of those runs, does he break a tackle? I don't know. Does he lower his pads and get through there? I don't know. It's looked like he was going to be capable of doing that the last few days in practice. So we're pretty deep at that position as well. I think we found out some things at that position.
So he's not necessarily that third guy just yet, would you say? Or?
There's a handful of them. There's more to it than carrying the ball. You got to be good in pass protection, and then what we do, you got to be able to catch the ball and get out in routes and do things like that. So he's still learning, with how to practice, how to play at the tempo we want him to play at. And he's still really getting in shape too. So, but you have seen progress to kind of player we think he needs.
Coach, I'll ask you, 2.5 weeks of fall camp, 2.5 weeks of looking at film. A player or players have really stood out in your mind on the offensive side of the ball?
Blake Mack, he continues to make play after play after play every time the ball's around him. Avery Johnson's a guy that has really came on and shown that we got some depth there, without Warren being gone now. So those guys, and then really all the wide receivers. Omar Bayless had an unbelievable 2 weeks, and he got sick and missed the last couple practices. He was back tonight, obviously having the balls in his way. A guy that shows up just all the time is kind of Darvion Brown. He does everything he's asked to do, everything he's coached to do. But really, all those guys there, have been really good. And when Devin's out right now, Mondays, he's had a really good camp as well. So, we just got to keep the O-line healthy and figure out a way to get guys the ball.
You mentioned Blake Mack as being somebody that's kind of stood out to you. With having Jonah Hill not with you for the first 2 weeks, what are you going to do at the tight end position? Is it going to be Avery Johnson kind of filling in that backup role?
Right now it'll be Avery Johnson, and then it kind of hurt us a little bit in our 2 tight end sets, just because Avery hadn't played a lot of ball for us, and he's more of an off-the-ball guy. So, we got some 10 personnel stuff that we'll do if need to.
Armond, it seemed like you got a lot more chances tonight than you did last week. I mean, what's the last week been like, and kind of how do you feel as a whole about just kind of where you're at with the offense and everything?
I feel good. I feel really good. Getting a little bit more comfortable. So of course I'm starting to get a little bit more reps and trying to work me in a little bit more. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is I'm just feeling a lot more comfortable. Getting good with the offense and starting to click and gel for me.
What has been the biggest adjustment, just as a guy that's kind of shown up a little bit later than some of the other newcomers? I mean, just kind of learning the offense and everything. What's been the toughest part?
I think the toughest part is really that I've been out of football for so long. I haven't touched the football since my last game in December at junior college. So I think that's the biggest adjustment for me, is starting to get back in the roll of things and almost get back in the groove and learn how to run the football again.
Yeah. What's your mindset in terms of kind of getting to, just kind of your role in the offense? I mean, there's 2 guys that carried the ball a lot last year, so are you looking to be the 3rd guy, or are you just going out there and playing and seeing kind of where you get to, or what is your thought, I guess?
My goal is, just wherever coach needs me, that's where I want to be at this point. Obviously, there were 2 guys here that made major impacts and had big roles last year, so obviously I'm not just going to jump over those 2 guys. I mean, I just want to let the season roll out and work my way up the depth chart as much as I can and go from there.
What has maybe been one of the things that surprised you since you've arrived on campus here?
Just the family atmosphere. I mean, everybody here loves Red Bulls, and coming from junior college, you got 20 people in the stands a game, so it's just much different. I mean, when I had a scrimmage at junior college, nobody was showing up, and you got students, fans, and stuff like that showing up. It's just really, really crazy.
How excited are you for game 1 against Toledo? I know how monotonous and tough fall camp can become, but how excited are you to get to that first game?
I'm really excited. I mean, it's been a very, very long time coming. I mean, coming from Texas Tech and going to junior college, I've been waiting for 2 years to get back to this level, so it's really exciting for me to just get back out there and play against a Division I football team for the first time in my career. So.
How do you feel like you fit in since you've been here?
I think I fit in well. I mean, everybody's so welcoming, so I think it's not, very difficult to fit in. I think I'm just one of the guys, so I think that's a plus for sure.
Do you like what you've seen in the team chemistry so far?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things as Coach Anderson definitely stresses. We're a family, so definitely one of the things that I actually enjoy.
How about the adjustment to the tempo of the offense? I mean, that's something that if you haven't played something this fast, and even though it's even kind of scaled back in fall, I mean, it's going to be faster when game time comes around, but the tempo, just adjusting to that tempo.
I mean, I did come from Texas Tech, so Kingsbury runs a similar fast-paced offense. Obviously, I didn't actually get to play in it. I just practiced in it. But, I mean, definitely a different change of pace, because at Scottsdale, we didn't run a huddle offense, but, I mean, we still take like 20 seconds to snap the ball. Here, it's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So I think the biggest thing is just learning, actually knowing what you got to do out there, because it's so fast, you don't have much time to think. So I think that's the biggest transition for me, and really getting in the playbook and learning everything.
Knock this out. Ready?
Am I looking at you?
That'll work either way. But all right, so I know it's hard to kind of maybe rate yourself and and kind of dictate, what happened tonight, because it was so controlled, no tackling involved. And I know it's frustrating to you guys, but just overall the feel of tonight's scrimmage.
I liked it. I mean, it kind of felt like high school under the lights and stuff. But we're gonna have a lot of games like that, which I love, because that's like kind of the comfort zone. It takes me back to those high school days, and you're just kind of playing ball again. So I love the atmosphere. It's awesome having these fans out here, and it was fun to get on the field and play, more realistic football again.
For you, it seems like the adjustment that you've made to the offense and the playbook. I mean, you're making quick reads, and it seems like your comfort is there.
It is, and I feel it. I think the coaches feel it. Compared to week one, with heavy install, I was thinking a lot. And then after that week, I feel like I've steadily, progressed, and I feel comfortable. I feel like I can make plays, make decisions on my own, and kind of run with the offense a little bit.
I know fall camp becomes very monotonous. I mean, you guys are tired of seeing each other. How much are you prepared to start to get ready for an opponent?
I'm really ready. I'm excited to see a different team on film and, see a scout defense that has looks for a different team. I'm excited for that aspect of it. And the closer we get to real football, the happier I'm going to get. So I'm ready for it.
Speaking of fall camp, Donovan, this is your last fall camp.
Yeah.
Now, don't lie. Does it ever get old on you?
I'll be honest. Coach Anderson made this fall camp very nice for us. He treated us really well. As you know, no two-a-days, things like that, where our bodies are fresh and ready to go into the season, and I really respect him for that. So as far as like the monotonous part that you talked about, yeah, it gets old. I guess it's every day, but we're having fun. And he made it great on us. We saw a movie last night, so we're doing things that are really fun and great team builders. So that part of it's nice.
I was going to ask you about that aspect. That stuff has to be like super welcome. I mean, the slip and slides, the game nights, the things like that. How much does that go as far as team morale with you guys?
I think it goes far. I mean, you're sitting there bowling with someone that you never really had a long conversation with or something like that. And, I don't know, it's just time that we can get away, let our minds escape a little bit and have some fun together, and I think it was very important for us.
How much do you feel like now that you've been here for a while, you've battled with these guys, how much now do you feel like I'm a part of the family?
I mean, honestly, I felt that within the first week of being here. Everyone accepted me really well, but now I feel like I've been here for 5 years. That's the kind of feeling I have right now, and that's pretty special to have that feeling so early.
All right, last question for me, but as we talk about at your last fall camp, I mean, when you hit the field with Toledo, I mean, it's going to start to sink in with you that this is officially your senior year, this is it. How much have you thought about that?
I'm not trying to think about that too much. Of course, you want that to be motivation, like this is my last go-around, but you don't want to have to play in such a way that you don't want to mess up because it's your last chance, and so I just want to go out there, have fun for last year, and end my college career the right way.
Speaking of bowling, how was the split up to teams? Was offense versus defense?
No, we got into groups of two and just kind of competed against each other. Took a few lanes.
So what you're saying, the offense dominated the defense?
Well, actually, we were both like one on each side on some teams, so we had a good time. But I think the offense we're kind of more skilled, more finesse when it comes to the hand-eye. So we were better bowlers.
All right, man. How'd it feel today? I know it's hard on you, especially on defense, not being able to hit.
Man, the defense was all kind of like, it's made up for the offense. But, kind of got it going, still got a little work in. Made the best out of our situation.
I got to ask you, I know you pretty well, and I know that Toledo's just around the corner. You're tired of seeing your offense. You're ready to see this other team. But how much have you guys talked as a defense about Toledo since the last two times hasn't ended the way you guys have wanted it to as far as a motivation goes?
We talk about it. We talk about it almost every day. Even though we're going against our guys throughout this camp, we talk about it every single day, man. We know that we got to beat Toledo first. The great season that we're going to have is going to start with beating Toledo.
How much of that do you guys focus on? Because I talked about it recently with some folks, and I said Toledo is going to set the tone for the entire season. You can't worry about Auburn. You can't worry about Utah State. Being able to focus on that and knowing the stadium is going to be packed. You open here at home, live on national TV. I know I'm getting you hyped here, but how much do you guys talk about that, but trying to keep yourself grounded, not getting too hyped?
Man, throughout this camp, the focus has been on just learning the playbook, certain installs, and then going against our offense. Our offense gave us numerous amount of pitches, formations, so our offense is helping raise our IQ. As far as Toledo in comparison, they give us a lot of pitches too. So it's kind of like, okay, good. We're glad our offense is giving us a bunch of formations. We're glad they're giving us a bunch of pitches because it's preparing us for Toledo. So when we see a formation, it won't just be brand new or it won't panic as much because it's something we're used to. It's something we've been doing throughout camp.
This is going to be the deepest defensive line you've ever played behind. And I know as a linebacker and a guy that's in that back seven, I mean, this is going to give you guys a lot of opportunity on that back end to really do some things because they're gonna clear some things for you.
I mean, like you said, them boys go hunt. The defensive line is going to be the strongest point of our defense. It's going to start with them, and then the back end is going to follow through. With the defensive line that we have, it's going to allow us to double cover certain guys, certain strong receivers, and certain team secondary. So, I'm just glad that I'm playing behind those guys and not somebody else.
Perfect.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach, obviously second scrimmage, controlled for obvious reasons.
Miserable.
But no tackling involved. But tell me what you take from this as a head coach, what you're looking for.
Well, this is the end of fall camp. We cut them loose tonight to their families and kind of a day. I just wanted to see, I thought the tempo was good when they could use it. It's hard because they didn't know where the ball was going to be spotted. It looked as if we were pretty good in terms of assignment. That's about all you can get. I mean, the guys know what to do, and they're willing to do it hard because I probably robbed them of some big plays on offense, and I know I robbed them of some big hits on defense. That's frustrating, especially when you practice for 16 days straight and you really want to hit somebody, but we just can't afford to do it.
Well, and, we've talked about this in previous fall camps where you've got that balance of needing to learn but needing to keep these guys fresh. I mean, really for the most part, this fall camp, outside of a couple injuries has been good, but you can't really afford any injuries in certain spots.
And nobody can. I think we've talked the last 2 days about the possibility of going live tonight, and that's what I really wanted to do. I just, honestly, the staff's like, Coach, we can't do it. And we need it, but it's just not something we have the luxury. We're not deep enough at any position to lose somebody, especially not somebody significant. And all you do is just scroll through social media today and find out how many people are announcing, this player or that player out for the season. And we're luckily not having to do that. Some things we could have done better in a live situation, I think, and maybe could have answered some questions maybe a little bit better, but at the risk of what? And we need everybody we can healthy in 2 weeks.
With that quarterback position, and we talked with Coach Faulkner about it, you guys see enough during the week and able to watch enough film during the week, but having one final scrimmage like that to kind of see from them, just focusing on the quarterback position, how much can you take from them tonight?
Well, I think decision-making is still something that you see every time they have the ball in their hands. Are we blocking and tackling like you normally would? No, but if they're trying to put the ball in the right spot, if they're careless with the ball, those things stand out regardless of the environment. And we got to see that every day. They've looked a lot alike for a long time. I don't know if tonight anything changed on that. Chad's group seemed to move, but I don't know if that's the luxury of who he was behind and just how the series went. So I'd hate to jump to conclusions on either one of them till you really go back and look. But you can still see if they're making the right choices regardless of the environment.
One of the guys, obviously losing Warren, but one of the guys that we kind of just talked about with Coach Faulkner that kind of has shown up pretty quick for a guy who went from defense to offense is Xavier Johnson.
Yeah. He's a lot more comfortable on offense, there's no doubt. We knew that when we recruited him that it was going to be a challenge to put him on defense, but he tried it and tried to do what we needed, just wasn't comfortable. And he's been immediately, you could see, more comfortable when we moved to that position. Honestly, all those moves that we made, Chauncey back out to slot, Darryl Rollins back in the backfield. I probably robbed Darryl of the touchdown, to be honest with you. He scored it through, and I hit an early whistle. He's probably out the gate. But all those guys have taken those moves and looked much more comfortable with where they're at now. Don't know how much how big their roles will be, but they're going to create some opportunity and some depth as much as anything.
You know, I asked Coach Faulkner, over the 16 days, looking at film every day, I said, anybody says that, and he was talking about, Blake and Avery, things like that. On the defensive side, or really everything, the last 16 days, anybody just jumped
on
out
defense?
At you? Well, or offense. I mean, just somebody that we're overlooking that jumped out at you.
Well, I think Trent Ellis, just for a true freshman, just always seems he's kind of like we got used to Kyrie and Tajay. Just has a nose for the ball. Always seems to be around the ball a lot. I think everybody else that you see over there is guys we're kind of used to seeing, but he really has jumped out early for a young guy. And he comes from a good program, and they play great ball at Daphne, so he's been around really good high school ball. But he's a guy that I've noticed a lot and can see where he's going to have a chance as a freshman to really be able to help us. I think Armond didn't get loose a whole lot tonight, but he looks more and more comfortable. He wasn't here in the summer. He was, he got here the first day of fall camp where most of these other guys went through a whole, I think they got about 15 practices in by themselves in the summer. So for him to not have been here any longer than he's been really, looking more and more comfortable and like what we wanted him to look like. Change of pace guy, physical presence. And Chris Booker's the other one. Chris Booker missed all spring, and you can see every once in a while he can get loose and really run. So, I've been pleased with all of our skill guys, but those are some guys that kind of stood out here lately.
Okay, so this fall camp, we've gone through all these weather extremes. It's the hottest August on record to like one of the wettest August.
Yeah, we've had both.
So
good thing we had an indoor.
Well, that's the thing. The indoor, I mean, it's a blessing, but then sometimes you're one of I want to get them outside, but you can't.
What are the chances we got through tonight without getting wet? I mean, if you looked at the radar today, it said 50 or 60% chance, and then it was perfect. I mean, we didn't get a drop, and it was really pleasant. It was good to get out under the lights a little bit. Most of our practices have all been in the morning, and even though we weren't under the lights a lot, we did get a little bit of work. We'll get another one next week during the middle of the week, so we can kind of play in an environment that we'll be in. But it's just, you got to deal with this. Arkansas, weather changes about every 5 minutes.
You guys have done an awesome job about helping break the monotony of the fall camp with the slip and slide and game nights and things like that. The response that you have gotten from the team doing those things.
They've done everything we've asked. Our practices have been high tempo. We've run the tar out of them, on and off, everywhere we go. Meetings and some long walkthroughs and meetings, and really just challenged them that I was going to find balance. I was going to create balance for them, but when I asked for work, I needed to get it. And we talked as a staff. This was collectively a better fall camp than the two previous. There were days in the last 2 years we had to drag it out of them, or we had to kind of get on them and say, hey guys, you're not giving it. This group never did that. And I think if you find balance and they know that you're going to work hard, but you're also going to play hard too, and have some fun, I think they'll give you what you want, and that's what this group's doing.
It has seemed like, and you say this all the time when we talk about newcomers, whether it's JUCO guys or whether it's freshmen, that you say if they don't stick out, then that's a good thing. But it seems like with this particular camp, with the newcomers, they just seem like that transition has been very good.
They just look like everybody else. I think we've created a really, really solid culture of accountability with the older veteran guys. I think Shadid's done a great job. It was a summer where we could even push it a little further. You talk about the numbers that they ran, the amount of reps that they went through, just the accountability he put them in. He even ramped it up another. So it's been a gradual process, part of being in a program for multiple years. That's why you look at programs that have sustained it over 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, you build upon success and upon culture, and we're getting there. And so now you look in and you bring new guys in, but the culture is already set and they've got to conform to it. Instead of a year or two, we're still building it and still trying to make sure the guys knew what we wanted. This group knows what we want, and they're really holding each other accountable.
I know these guys are tired of seeing each other.
They're tired of seeing us, no doubt.
And certainly that. So this little bit of break with their family is going to come very welcome. But preparation for Toledo, when will you guys turn that focus and really start getting into that?
Well, tomorrow they really have nothing but a meeting in the afternoon. Monday's first day of class, so we won't practice. Tuesday we get back to work, and we'll work a couple situations Tuesday that we haven't finished up yet. And then on Wednesday we'll start rolling with Toledo. And you're a week and a half away from kickoff, and it's going to happen quick. Being on a Friday night, it even happens quicker. And it's a huge challenge. They're a really good football team. And we know that. We've seen them up close, and we're not ready. We're not ready yet. We got work to do.
You mentioned that, and it's going to be a short turnaround by the time we get to Tuesday. I mean, those are days that are gone. You ain't getting back. So what is it that you need to see accomplished from this group before Friday, September 2nd gets here?
Well, we got to just eliminate mistakes. You know, we had snaps on the ground. We had poor snaps. We had a couple pure busts in protection where we had guys just go the wrong way. Those are just things that can't happen. It can't happen. I think we probably did more things than you could see because of the early whistle. There were things that could have potentially been better than they were, but there were enough of those mistakes to get you beat. The ball on the ground. You know, we have a ball exchange with Chris Booker. The ball ends up on the ground, and we're going to give somebody the ball on the 30-yard line going in. That's those things that get you beat. I was really pleased with special team work all fall camp. I think the defense has been solid, and the offense has looked great at times, and we've looked like an inexperienced offense at times. And we got less than 2 weeks to get to a point where we're not. They'll benefit from narrowing the package. You know, right now we've installed everything and it's all on their plate. I think offensive players tend to benefit from narrowing it down and really focusing on what we're going to actually run, and it tends to give you more confidence, and hoping that'll be an effect for us. Sure, guys.